What's up? How you doing? Here we are. Beautiful day today. Beautiful day. I don't know. It feels like mid-spring. That's what it feels like. So I have a cutting board here. I'm going to condition it with food grade mineral oil. Help it last longer. Although when I was a kid, there was a meat shop not too far from my house, probably 6 or 7 blocks, and my father would go in there once in a while and he would get meat, ground beef, whatever, and the guy had a huge cutting block. It was like a table, and I don't know how old that thing was, because in the middle where he usually would cut with, it had a valley from all the knife cuts over the years. But it was a nice piece. So anyway, moving on here. Probably you don't need to shake this, but I shake everything except water. So food grade mineral oil enriched with vitamin E. A little bit vitamin E in here. See traffic over there. So we're gonna put a little bit in, blend it in with the hands. By the way, it says to blend in with a cloth. I'm doing it my way. So you make a nice layer, and then you let it sit for 20-25 minutes, and then you take a cloth and wipe down the excess amounts, if there is any or are any. I love cutting blocks. Some people, they cut on their table and they ruin their table. I like the smooth surface of a cutting block. I have a few actually. But it's a product you can never have too much of. And I have another one, a smaller one inside, but that's a little bit worn. And then I have a nice big one, thick, and then I have an even bigger one than that, and that's even thicker. Got to get the grooves in here. So this basically seals it so you don't get water damage, termites. Yeah, very nice. Plus it makes everything pop. So, and we do the other side as well. It's like putting baby oil on your body after a shower. Although I'm not a fan of that baby oil stuff. Makes you feel a little bit slimy after. Some people like it. Look at that. So we let it sit. I'm gonna let it sit for a half hour, maybe even longer. Shined up all my boots, all my shoes. I did my my leather belts, my jump rope. I put some nutritional oil for leather on my jump rope. It's made out of leather. And what else? I have some suspenders made out of leather, which I very rarely use. And I have these old baseball gloves that they're not old. They're probably like a year and a half old, and they're not broken in yet. So I've been putting conditioner on them for leather, not silkians. And I have, my kids one day may want to throw balls around, so they may want to do that. I used to do that when I was a kid. More than anything, I was a big fan of the Frisbee. I remember they had a Gilligan's Island thing, the rescue, and Professor, they went to visit him, Gilligan and the skipper, they went to visit the professor, and he had invented all these things that he thought he invented but had already existed, like the Frisbee. And I don't know, I think Gilligan said, somebody said Skipper. I said, what do they call that? And Professor said, Gilligan said Frisbee. And he says, how do you know that? He goes, because it says it right on here. Remember Wham-O? Wham-O would make all those cool toys. I'm a fascinated person when it comes to Frisbees. I love the fact that they glide through the air with very little energy. And some of them go far. If you got just the right amount of drift, it could go like a tenth of a mile. Yeah. We used to play a lot of things like that when I was a kid. They don't play anything anymore. Now it's all virtual. It's on a screen. I know these kids these days, they don't play Relivio like I played when I was a kid. Relivio was a popular game. And I don't know, a lot of people, they don't know what it is today, but in my prime, when I was a kid, everybody played Relivio in the schoolyard. You didn't need equipment. You just needed a good pair of sneakers to run with. And even that, maybe barefoot would work just as well. But first, second, third grade, we played Relivio all the time. And there was the building of the school. There was a pipe, like one of those big pipes. I don't know if it was the bathroom pipes, and it came out of the wall. I think it was like I think it was one of those big fire emergency water pipes that connected to some hose, or I don't know. Maybe it wasn't, but it was a big pipe, and there was a cutout on the ground, and then they had refilled it. I guess they did some work on that pipe years before, and we used that as what they called the goose. That was home base. And then on the other side of the school playground, there was a fire escape system, and on the bottom, you could go under there and pretend you're in a home or something, and we used that as a jail. So it was like, could be whatever, but it was usually 5 or 6 guys on one side, 5 or 6 guys on the other, and the guys on the goose eventually had to run, and the other guys had to try and catch them. Once you caught whoever you caught from the other team, you had to say 1, 2, 3, stop, there are no breaksies, or caught there are no breaksies, not stop. So 1, 2, 3, caught, there are no breaksies. I didn't know that back then. I didn't say caught, there are no breaksies. I thought I would hear 1, 2, 3, Copamino breaksies. I thought that was, I don't know, some fancy expression. So I would grab, because I was the fastest kid back then in the school. I mean, all the grades, everywhere I ran, I was quick. I was like lightning fast. Even tall kids could not keep up with me. But anyway, I would get everybody one at a time. They always picked me on the team because I was super fast and evasive. I could escape. So I would grab and I would say 1, 2, 3, caught, there are no breaksies. I would say 1, 2, 3, Copamino breaksies, and then I put them in jail. So the thing is, if you had at least one person on goose and was not caught in jail yet, he had the ability to free everybody. So if he could escape all the people trying to capture him, he would run through the jail, and as he's running through the jail, he would yell out "Relivio." And the second Relivio left his lips, all the people in that jail could escape now and be free once again. So you had to capture everybody. But if you did capture everybody, then you switch sides. Then the other side had to try and get you. And back then I was like nearly impossible to capture. I don't know. I was fast. I was quick. And I was not the tallest person, but I could beat even the tallest people in my class easily. We had this kid, he had like, I don't know, he had like 5 inches on me, which is pretty high, pretty tall, I mean, for, you know, that age. And the gym teacher, he had one of those, and I'm still fascinated by them, those analog stopwatches. And when I would see that watch coming out of that little box, I was all excited because I loved racing. I loved racing. So when he would come, we'd go in the top parking lot where there was a lot of room, and then he would set 2 lines, and each person would run against the other, and then the winners would go on one side, and then they'd get divided into 2 groups until you had one person that was the fastest, and that was always me. I was always the fastest. Not now, I'm talking about back then in my prime. So one day I had beaten everybody, and now it was me and the tallest kid in the class, and he had these long legs, you know. So they put me up against this kid, and I ran and I beat him. I beat him by, I don't know, a quarter second or something, but I beat him. And you know, every sport that required speed, they chose me on the team first. But I was also good at pitching. I could hit a target from, you know, good distance. You know, I'd aim, and, you know, with my bionic eye, I would aim and I would throw and I would hit it. You know, a lot of times kids would say to me, "You should join Little League." Back when I was a kid, and I would say, I don't like the commitment, you know. And then when I got a little older, a friend of mine was watching me, you know, pitch there, and he goes, "You should join a baseball team or something." I go, "Maybe I should, but I'm not going to." So I think it was like in the fourth or fifth grade, probably 5th grade. I had a friend, Wayne, and he was going to join baseball team, and he said to me, you got to come and join. So somehow I said yes to that, and it was in the evening, like 4 o'clock or something, fall time, where we were going to go sign our names and try out. 3 o'clock probably. And all day I was with him and his father, and we drove around. I think we went to like the mall, Sears, things like that, and then finally we ended up at the baseball field, which was near my house anyway. That's where I used to hang around at the railroad tracks. And they started, you know, setting things up, and I'm looking at it, I go, I am absolutely not interested in trying out for this. So I went to him and I said, I gotta go. And he goes, "You're not gonna?" I said, "No, I gotta go." So I jumped over the fence, and I spent the next hour or so hanging around the railroad tracks. And then I went home. So anyway, I'm gonna leave this for a while. Look at that. Got some kind of, I don't know what kind of smell that is. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Anyway, I have another board somewhere that I want to oil up. It's thick and a bit more narrow than this, probably half the width. My hands are all makes your hands soft though. Remember those commercials? Palm olive, compound word. Palm olive, olive oil maybe. They had the lady there, and she would, you know, I was like, I don't want to do the dishes, it, you know, it ruins my hands. And then the other lady would say, not if you use palm olive. And then she would have like a transparent glass don't know, bowl or something with water and Palmolive mixed in there, and then she would take her hands and grab the lady's hand and put it in the water, and then she'd feel it. She goes, "Wow, they're soft." She goes, "Yeah." So there was a softens hands while you do the dishes. Palmolive. That was my mother's brand. I like Down, although I have used, recently Palmolive. When I smell that, it brings me back to my childhood, because that smell was what my kitchen would smell like when my mother was doing dishes. My mother not a believer in a dishwasher. We owned one, but it just sat there on the corner, never used it. All right, so I also have here a brand new Tabasco, but this is Tabasco on steroids. This is extra hot, as it says right there. Scorpion pepper, brand new. I haven't used it. Best buy date is April 2025. We have some time. It's brand new. Look at that. They even have says shake well. Ingredients: scorpion pepper, vinegar, sugar, there's agave, pineapple, salt, pepper, extra hot. Looking at it, it looks extra hot. So we try, this stuff really goes well, not in a tablespoon on its own, but when you're making like scrambled eggs or eggs in general, or maybe sausages, and you do the onions and peppers, you could add a little bit of that in there, mix it in. It just makes food taste more flavorful. So I do have the other one, the regular one. I love Tabasco. So shake well. I watched a show one time where they showed the host of the show went to the place where they make this stuff. They went to the place where they pick the peppers, and then they put them in these barrels, wooden barrels, like they make in wine or something, and they pile them all the way to the top. Well, they cook them. They have a process. It's not just the peppers in there. They cook them, and then they put the top on, and then they store them. And there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of barrels that they leave in there, I don't know, for a couple of years. And then eventually they get around to them with the date. They open up the top and Tabasco in there. But this one is made from scorpion peppers, so it's going to be even better. All right. Like I said, beautiful day today. Not a cloud in the sky. There's a slight breeze, maybe 3.5 miles an hour when there's a gust, but when there isn't, it's nice and nothingness. I mean, there's a breeze going on over there. I see the leaves moving, but where I am, I don't feel anything. So that's it for now. Ciao.